Hi, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Tiny Brains podcast. I'm Kevin Joyce, CEO at Tiny Brains, and with me is Peter Graham, the Brigadier of Brains. Say hello, Peter.
Hello, Peter.
So, what we do on this podcast, for those of you who are new, is every week we take a look at the biggest stories in XR from the previous week. And today we're going to dive in with a pretty big one, actually.
Yes, a Rockstar Games, that little, developer that you might have heard of who makes Grand Theft Auto.
And Rockstar Games presents table tennis.
Yeah, and that as well. The recent announcement last week was the announcement was that Rockstar has acquired a game company called Video Games Deluxe. This is an Australian studio. That's You might not be too familiar with their name, but these are the guys, in terms of VR at least, that were behind LA Noire, the VR case files. They all actually worked on LA Noire as well. But yes, as I say, Rockstar has acquired these guys. Now, the other interesting thing about Video Games Deluxe is these are also the people that were previously working on Grand Theft Auto VR. You may have heard about that a few years ago. Zuckerberg made a big announcement during Connect. It was 2021 that he made the announcement that this was, GTA VR it was the San Andreas version was going to come to MetaQuest, and then it got dropped. Well, nothing hurt. We heard nothing about it, and then it got dropped last year. There was an announcement that yeah, it's on hold indefinitely. So this has made the news because a lot of people are going, "Ooh, could this be back on the cards?" But what do you think, Kev? I don't think so.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would love for that to be the case. Um, But I think in reality, it's more likely that Video Games Deluxe have proven themselves a reliable partner for Rockstar, and so why not purchase that studio for whatever else it is they're doing? Now, yes, please make them your VR arm, Rockstar. That would be great. We would love that. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and that's it. They do have, plenty of VR experience, and it would be lovely if they did turn them into their VR arm, but that's a long shot at this stage.
So, moving on from something that people love to love itself.
Oh, lovely segue. So yes, this was a bit more of an unusual one that cropped up on the internet Vine. A company called Social Discovery Group, and this is a company that makes dating apps. They make dating.com and datingmyage.com, have announced an annual 20 million fund to back early stage startups that primarily help to improve virtual intimacy. This is a fund that's going to fund. This is a fund that's going to fund AR communication, XR advancements, social discovery, that sort of stuff. But essentially, yes, they're looking to improve VR dating as such.
Yeah, so I am aware of a fair few VR dating apps. Obviously, there's a lot of people that claim that they met their partner in VR or did their engagement proposal in VR and whatever else, and that's all great. But this is specifically for dating. It's like the Match.com of VR. That's what they're looking for, or XR, sorry. Um, yeah, I don't really know where they would go with that, if I'm honest.
Is it a nicer, more structured version of VR chat with lots of sexy
Speed
avatars?
dating VR. Yeah.
Don't know, but
All right.
the fund is called SDG Lab, and they've already made some investments. One platform is called VR Chat and Date. I've not heard of it myself. I don't know if you have, Kev, but if anyone has, drop us a thing in the comments saying whether you've used it or what do you think of it.
We mean specifically VR chat and date here. Obviously, we're aware of VR chat.
Yeah, yeah, not VR. Yeah, yeah. The name is, yeah, that's also a bit confusing. Putting VR chat in the first bit and date.
I,
Hmm.
I think that's what they were they were aiming for, if
Yeah,
I'm
getting
honest.
on those search terms. Yeah, exactly.
Well, good luck. I hope everybody involved in this fund is successful and everybody who uses these platforms finds their one
Mhm.
or two or three, depending on what you're
Yeah,
looking
plenty
for.
of money on offer there.
So, moving on, we've got a story that I don't really want to touch with a 10-foot plank.
Yeah, last week was a bit quiet on a lot of stories, but this one blew up. Um, yeah, it's not it's a bit of a tricky one. Essentially, Toast Interactive, which are the people behind Richie's Plank Experience and Max Mustard, announced a
Which we should note before we dive in, have recently suffered massive layoffs.
well, I was about to say exactly that. A few weeks ago, they announced big layoffs. K announced, well, they put a post out on Twitter saying that both of the games had been delisted by Meta. Now, there's there's not a lot of information going on at the moment about why these games have been delisted. Now, Max Mustard came out in 2024. Richie's Plank Experience is kind of one of the OG VR games, really. It came out in about 2017, and it was one of those games that a lot of people love to use to showcase VR to people. You put a
And
bit of wood
still
on.
do.
Oh, still do. You put a bit of wood on the floor, and people go out and look down over, you know, across the city, and it gives you that sense of scale and very impressive, but very simple. So it's really weird that something like that, which has been on the store for years and years, has now been delisted. The last time I checked on the Horizon store, under both games, I couldn't find them. So they haven't been there, but essentially, Meta has given Toast Interactive a reason why they've been delisted, but supposedly Toast Interactive says it can't talk about it yet. So yeah, that's
Yeah. The story here is a bit more suspicious than that.
oh,
Because Toast Interactive posted about the fact that they've been delisted and they were unhappy and asking for support from the community, but didn't reveal that Meta had actually given them a reason why they've been delisted, and are now saying that they have a reason, but they can't talk about it. So, the speculation is to do with Max Mustard's 90% launch discount promotion, which, I can understand Meta being peeved because their percentage gets significantly lowered, but surely they would have just stopped that at launch, right? They would have said no, because Meta controls what promotions are on that platform. So Meta would have just said, no, you can't do that. So
that
I don't
discount
know.
was a while ago as well. So
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So I want to have faith in Toast. Max Mustard is great. And obviously, as you say, Richie's Plank, everyone's tried it. Everyone in VR has tried that experience. So I want to have faith in Toast, but the way they've handled it seems a bit suspicious.
so these games are still available on other platforms as well. It's literally only Meta that's done this. So
So we'll be paying attention to how this one unfolds.
exactly, indeed, I think everyone's going to be keen.
Moving on, we've got a big earner,
But we
big
have got a
bucks, good news
big
in VR.
big bucks still on the Meta Quest. Animal Company has hit the top of the top earning games last week, and beaten the 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 previous holder, the crown jewel, Gorilla Tag. So Animal Company, if you've not heard of this game before, which maybe you probably have because it's hit over 1 million monthly players so far, and is essentially very much inspired by Gorilla Tag in terms of its mechanics, in terms of getting around, but it's also uh, inspired by a game called Lethal Company. So it uses Gorilla Tag mechanics, the physical walking around, but then it adds in monsters and traps and other bits and pieces. So yes, there are over 1 million players so far, and it's earning big bucks. So
Yeah, this is one that surprised me personally. Glad to see this competition, and I'm glad other developers are finding success in VR. But Animal Company never struck me as a game that was catching the attention in the same way that Gorilla Tag did. Proves, sitting in our little VR bubble is not all there is.
well, exactly, and also, but it again puts points to the fact that these free-to-play games are doing very well. The Meta has recently said that a lot of users are spending roughly about 70% of their time on free-to-play games like Gorilla Tag, like Animal Company, and so I expect to see a lot more developers go down this route and then monetize it.
Indeed. I mean, the Meta Store, the Horizon Store, as it's now known, is full, inundated with Gorilla Tag clones and low grade stuff lately. And I can't see this putting a halt to any of that.
No, no, definitely not. This is only going to encourage it more. Uh, yes, yeah, it does need a bit more curation, but we'll save that for another day.
That's a whole podcast in itself. So finally, we're going to wrap up with some news about a remake coming.
Yes, Wanderer, the Fragments of Fate. Now, this game originally launched back in 2022. I played it. I don't know if you did, Kev. It was a sort of time traveling adventure. Took in areas like the space shuttle landings and lots of iconic moments through time. And I enjoyed it. I think a lot of people did enjoy it. And then, strangely, a year later in 2023, the developers behind it announced that we're going to do a remake and we're going to launch it in 2024. So everyone's like, cool, we're going to res up the graphics, add some new areas and all that sort of jazz that you'd expect in a remake. And then it got delayed. And then it got delayed. And then it got delayed again. And it actually got delayed, I think 3 times in total. But now they have hopefully confirmed that the launch is happening this month on the 27th of March for PlayStation VR 2 and MetaQuest.
This is great. More VR content is always good, especially from studios who are well versed. The whole remake situation might be getting a bit out of hand. It's a bit soon, too soon. But then we already have had the Arizona Sunshine remake as well. So, you know, if it's a way of these studios keeping the doors open and keeping the lights on so they can make more experiences that do push boundaries and so on, then great. Sure, go for it. If it's a quick, easy buck for a studio that has no intention of doing anything new, I'm less behind that.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see. If it could by some of the stuff that they've said, it could almost be half of a new game, really, by what they're adding. But we'll have to wait and see. And hopefully
Yeah.
they'll keep with they'll keep with this launch date.
Yeah, and hopefully that they'll stick with that plan that they had originally of adding significant amounts of new content. That would be great. Okay, so that's all we've got time for this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Special shout out to Rory, sorry, from XR Today. Go check out XR Today. It's a great site for all your B2B style VR stuff. And yeah, we'll see you again next week.